Okay, welcome everyone. It's 9 o'clock. Welcome to the April edition of the Charlotte County Airport Authority. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we're going to ask if you'd like to join us for the invocation to please stand and remind you to turn off your cell phones. Thank you. TJ, please.
Heavenly Father, we just thank and praise you, and we ask that your will be done at this meeting. We pray for the safety and well-being of all here today, all who use our airport, and the citizens that we serve. We thank you for the provisions that you provide. We pray for the well-being of our country, and we pray for peace. We also ask for the safety of our military and our first responders at home and abroad. We ask all this to your will and glory, and in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to have an interesting meeting today. Legal counsel tells me they're going to order pizza in for lunch.
You're buying, I heard that.
It'll be cheaper than you buying it, I'll tell you that.
He's got canceled, he's got to buy.
Okay, let's go on with roll call, please.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. Leskovich,
Present.
Mr. Swellen,
Present.
Mr. Carr,
Present.
Mr. Hansick,
Here.
Mr. Parrish,
Here.
Mr. Thornberry.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, citizen input. Anyone wishing to address the authority on an agenda item, please come forward, identify yourself and the agenda item. Seeing there's a big rush, we'll move on to any additions or deletions to the agenda. Mr. Parrish?
None for me, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to agenda item number 8, the consent agenda.
Nope.
Nope.
Employee recognition.
Employee recognition, sorry about that. Okay. Oh, I need to look at the screen.
Good morning to the board.
Good morning.
Mr. Parrish. Today I want to introduce one of our new employees, Anthony Cedeno. He's joining us as an airside operations duty manager. We're excited to bring Anthony on during a busy time in our airport's history with all the growth and projects and everything we have going on. And Anthony will be serving as a leader to our airside operations staff. So please join me in welcoming Anthony Cedeno.
Where are you from, Anthony?
Originally from New York. I'm coming from Des Moines International Airport.
Oh, so you worked up there. Who's the manager up in Des Moines? I can't remember.
That should be Clint.
Clint. Okay. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Eric.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Eric
Eric.
Berg, I'm the general manager of the Air Center. I'd like to introduce Mike Kremen and Joe Rumley. They're employees that were here that have been promoted to our new duty manager position. Our operation manager position was actually split into two. Mike started his aviation career at 16 at a small airport in Maine. At high school, where he ran daily operations, often solo, and built strong relationships for the attendants and pilots that he maintains today. He moved to Punta Gorda in 2023, earned his private pilot's license and instrument rating, has about 300 flight hours. He joined us part-time as a line tech in November 23 and was promoted to line service supervisor 3 months later. Since stepping into the duty manager role, Mike has performed excellently. His passion for aviation and hand-on experience makes him a great asset to the team. Joe brings valuable experience from the medical industry, where he worked as a sterilization receiving supervisor for BD in Georgia. He joined Allegiant in 2024 and then came to our Air Center in June of 25 as a line service tech. He has a strong background in record keeping and attention to detail. He also has deep ties to aviation. His father-in-law is a mechanic for Allegiant and is also a private pilot. Since promoting to duty manager, Joe's been doing an excellent job. His prior supervisory experience and passion for the industry make him a strong addition to our team.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 8, the consent agenda. Anybody want to remove anything from the consent agenda? Hearing none, Chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I will move to approve item number 8, the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, agenda item 9, Secretary Treasurer's Report, accounts receivable. Chad, you're up.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioners. So for February, you'll see that the revenues came in slightly above what we had budgeted, about 3.5% above budget. And year to date through February, revenues are about 3% under budget. However, if you recall, in our last meeting, we reported through December, and we were about 6% below budgeted revenue. So we're making our way back, which is good news. On the expense side, we continue to perform favorably. Our monthly expenses were approximately 15% below budget, and year-to-date expenses through February remain under budget at about 9% below those projections. So we continue to watch those and manage our expenses as well. Overall, net operating revenue remains positive with a continued strong operating margin, as you can see. Balance sheet is looking good as well. And as far as our accounts receivable, you'll notice that we do have some delinquent tenants in our 90 days delinquent sheet. Properties and finance staff, we're continuing to contact those tenants and customers about past due amounts. They're on the 90-day and over, like I said, there's some smaller ones. We do have a larger amount on there that we are diligently working on resolving that matter. Mr. Carr is helping us with that matter as well. So we hope to resolve that here soon.
Chad, before you move on from that one, I mean, they're $40,000 behind.
Yeah.
I mean, is that 3, 4, 5 months behind?
That would be about 3 months of rent for them. We've sent them a letter. We've had some conversations with them about how to catch up and put some deadlines in place for them to begin those catch-up payments.
And how long has their lease been in effect so far?
They're a long-term tenant. They've been here for maybe 10 years. How do you recall when
They have been here, they
Longer.
bought the business, but that business itself has been on the airfield over 25 years. And they explain some of the issues and we're working with them to catch up, but we'll definitely monitor it. They did just downsize from 2 buildings to 1. So.
But they are making arrangements, cooperating, trying to get this caught up.
Yes, we are working with them to get it caught up, and we have put in place a mechanism for them to catch up, and they've signed that. They are currently behind on April's payment.
They did make their April payment.
Okay, good.
That
So-
did come in. So it's really about 4 months of delinquencies that we're needing them to catch up on, plus stay current.
All right. And then on the 60-day account receivables, I mean, they're listed on there as well, I'm assuming because it's the same issue. But what about Hertz on here? Why are they 23,000 behind?
Yeah, so Hertz, we're trying to get them to correct how they're paying. They're paying in arrears when they should be paying ahead of time. So this amount, they will end up paying that, but they're unfortunately their accounting department has yet to correct that. So they are catching up, but they do appear on the list. They're just paying. It's the month they're paying in is what's impacting them.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You'll notice a lot of the 60 days probably going to continue to grow as we've taken over advertising. And this was one of the things the advertising company told me is you got to chase them. And so, that's one of our new jobs is to chase payments on, that's why Babcock Ranch, I'm sure, is on here and a few others. So those are things we'll just, work through.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Hertz is beyond. over 60 days.
That's just the way they pay, and they're almost always on here, unfortunately.
Okay.
But we'll stay on them. You guys just approved the new agreements, and just to, Hertz is our smallest of the three, at about 570,000 a year is their
Versus a couple
mag.
million.
So, we continue to work with them. I continue to work with all the tenants. So, I as we grow, that grows, and we just have more to deal with. So.
I have a question. What does this Rotables do?
They're a maintenance and repair shop. They have a contract with Cirrus to do all their warranty work, and they're an avionics shop.
Oh, it's APG.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Chad, you done?
No, we're all.
Okay. Moving on, liaison reports. I'll start off with a report from the Punta Gorda City Council. Have nothing to report that is of common interest to both agencies. Board of County Commissioners,
I have nothing to report.
MPO. I guess I'll report on the MPO. I did go.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Hansick, for filling in as an alternate. I had a conflict for this last meeting.
The big thing at the MPO was they got the preliminary plan of the TIP plan, the Transportation Improvement Program for the next 20 years, and they sent that to everybody. I haven't had a chance to look at it because that's your job.
And I heard you were going to Orlando for the
No. Only if I can charter an airplane.
So the members of the NPO are switching off now, making the NPOAC, which is the advisory committee, state in Orlando. So it's a one-day endeavor. So I volunteered for.
Yeah, they meet at
April.
Disney. They meet at Disneyland.
I wish. And then on economic development, we're all familiar with the two awesome ribbon cuttings we had. Congratulations again to everybody involved, the hangar at Charlotte High, as well as the hangar here at home. And their focus is primarily on promoting and renewing the 1 cent sales tax at this point. Other than that, that's all I
Okay,
have to report.
Mrs. Coppola is not here as a result to report on community, so we'll move on to the school board. Steve?
I echo what Commissioner Thornberry said about the school and their ribbon cutting here the other day. I was not able to attend their emergency meeting the other day regarding their budget shortfalls, but I'll certainly have an update on that as well when it comes up.
Okay. Our attorney report.
Yes, sir. Other than keeping you in line, it's been rather slow on. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the cooperation, assistance.
Get you a
Get you up? No. Everything's going well. We have, as you know, a lot of construction as a result of a lot of construction issues, especially associated with requests for payments, delays, et cetera. I continue to work with Mr. White, Mr. LaRoche, and of course, Mr. Parrish associated with those matters and keeping them on track. Again, as to tenants, there is a constant tenant issue here because of payments, et cetera. So I dealt with Chad this month with this gentleman that you were referring to under what I'd call an eviction abatement letter, whereby they agree to a certain process, and if they don't, then what happens is there's an automatic default, we can proceed. The abatement process and then a payment schedule allows them to do a catch-up process under very specific circumstances. They want it longer, we gave them shorter, and hopefully, as Chad just said, they've made their first payment. So other than, I don't know how many millions of dollars worth of contracts we're dealing with every day, a plethora of tenants in intergovernmental relationships, other than that, nothing going on.
Okay, I would like to add to the attorney's report. I did receive a piece of educational information, and I'd like to advise my fellow commissioners that if there is a question in relationship to an administrative decision, go to the staff to get the answer as opposed to each other. Because theoretically, if we talk among ourselves about a decision made by administration, that could be construed as a violation of the Sunshine Law. So with that, just keep that in mind. Don't call me or call somebody else. Call Parrish. Okay.
Just to expound upon that, it's any more than one person. So if there's two of you, you can talk about anything in the universe you want to talk about, except something that can, quote, foreseeably come before the board. If it could foreseeably come before us, you can't talk about it. You can ask anybody on staff, you can ask me, you can ask anybody, but don't discuss it, and don't go to another person and ask them for information. Have you heard, et cetera, and to avoid the appearance of it and impropriety. But again, it's only if it can foreseeable come before the board. If you decide you want to go discuss a new novel or the universe or the cycling of the planets, you're free to do that. You just can't discuss something that, quote, foreseeably can come before the board.
Is it safe to assume the manual was given to any new commissioners and as part of our packet? It's a good reference, the manual,
Yeah,
the Sunshine Manual.
the Sunshine Law Manual is passed out to everybody when they update it and to new commissioners. We probably need to schedule a Sunshine Law workshop. I don't think we've had one in a few years.
The state of Florida puts out a
Requirements.
very good booklet about that. If you'd like, it's online. I can find it and send it to you. They update it every year. But the easiest thing to do is just remember, if it could foreseeably come before this board, don't talk to each other about it. You talk about sports, the weather, the universe, I don't care. As long as it doesn't something foreseeably come before the board.
Can we talk about weather at the airport?
You can, as long as we're not going to make a decision.
Not the
about weather.
not the
Is that a
weather
difference of
system.
opinion?
You're going to talk about weather monitoring here at the airport? No.
Okay. Well, it's, appreciate you keeping us in line.
It was just you, sir, but other than that.
Okay, moving on. CEO's report, Mr. Parrish.
I'm going to let Brett handle the development update.
Commissioners, good morning. Ms. Parrish. Development update, still a busy time here at the airport, slowing down a little bit, but still have a lot of projects going on, trying to close some out and start some new ones. So I'll just get going here on the development report that was in your packet. On the planning stage, we have taxiway Delta relocation and taxiway Foxtrot realignment. We are currently in for design grants. Those are submitted to the FAA. Once we receive those back, we will get moving on the design. Looking for the constructability of those in 27. Our master plan is currently in the planning stage right now. We have presentations today. You will select someone to move forward with our master plan. Once we do that, we'll start preparing the scope and fee for the FAA. Had a conference call with them this morning, actually, and they're chomping at the bit to get this going. So I have about 6 weeks before I have to submit the application for the grant. In design currently right now, our golf course Challenger Boulevard, that's in the design phase. We actually had a pre-bid construction meeting yesterday. Had good attendance by the contractors. That is out to bid. Currently working with the county and city, finalizing everything that's going to be done. This project started in 2022. A lot of coordination was done with the city and county. We want the county to take over the roadway and maintenance when this project is done, just like Challenger, and the city has utilities going underneath it that we need to protect. A lot of coordination was done, so we're working with them again now that we're working on the funding for this and getting that moving forward. Under construction, our new ARF truck. Oh, go ahead.
Are we going to be able to go straight across to Piper from Challenger?
That's the idea. Yeah, we will connect Challenger all the way.
Not have a jog around them.
There'll be a
slight jog. It's because really the property and more the lake we have to fill in.
Yeah.
So did you see that in the plans?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, there is a slight jog there.
Very slight,
Yes.
like Collingswood Boulevard type stuff.
There's not enough to put a stop sign. Originally, we were looking at putting a stop sign at the intersection. We're trying not to have that. This project is phased in 3 different phases, one being the Challenger extension, the other being the golf course removing golf course entirely from Challenger down to Henry, and then installing the new perimeter road going through there.
So the issue is not necessarily filling in what we need to keep it straight. It would be adding capacity of that pond that we're taking away.
Correct. And we can't really add more due to the far east side will be taken out probably 20 feet, but that's a huge utility right away. And the amount of utilities in there when we have locates done, I mean, it spans about 50 feet.
It's just all flags when we're done
Yeah,
locating.
it's-
So yeah, there will be a small jog, I mean, to stay on our property, but I don't think you'll notice it. You'll be coming down that hill and just going over.
Thank you.
Moving forward with the construction projects, our new ARF truck is here. It's outside. If anyone would like to see it, climb in it. It's pretty cool. The cab of the truck, it's like a cockpit. But our fire station here has been training on it. The training's complete. We have it all filled now. We're waiting on some high-tech radios to install, but we're hoping early next month to put it in service. So all the training went well. Everyone's good to go on it. But
So along with that, we're putting the new fluorine-free foam in this truck. We bought enough foam to do our other truck. And then we'll be washing and rinsing the 2 existing trucks. One will stay in service with the new fluorine-free foam. The other one we'll take out of service. And we need to decide what we're going to do with it, whether it's sell it, lease it, put it out for other airports to use. But we'll bring that back to the board once it's done. But the process of cleaning the trucks is something the FAA won't tell us how to do. So we are going with a single rinse, triple rinse, even though single rinse is good for everybody else, we're going to do a triple rinse. And honestly, the current foam will probably show back up if you tested it 5 years later, because it embeds itself into the plastics. It's also in the coffee cups we're using, so it can't be that bad.
What do you do with the foam that you're rinsing out?
That we're paying a company to come rinse it and take it away.
When you fill a truck with even the new foam, is there a shelf life on that?
There's a shelf life. It's tested. I could ask the firemen in the audience, or they could leave. It's tested periodically to make sure it still meets the standards, but there is a shelf life on the foam, and then it has to be disposed of.
And the new foam does not perform as well as the old foam does. So we're going to store more of it than we had in the past. But that's already been ordered. That new foam should be here in the next week or 2. And then the rinsing will happen middle of May.
All right. Sorry, Brian.
And along with that, the ARF truck, part of the master plan we're going to look at in the next 3 years, we really need to replace the other one. The shelf life for ARF trucks in the FAA is 15 years, and our other one's going to be there within 3 years. So the planning process and getting that going really needs to start happening in 27. So we'll be looking at doing another one soon.
So this was about an 18-month build?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And we might want to get an electric one next time.
Looking into that.
The new one, you might be able to eliminate the operator and just get one of those things, that make the truck move.
Easy now.
Moving along, the inline baggage system. That system has been operating for a couple months now. We're out of the go live stage. We're still working out some small kinks. It's operating well. A lot of it is human error that we're working with. The project as a whole, they're currently renovating the existing space where TSA used to be. We're looking at having that operational at the end of May. That will also add 2 new gates and the concession that is planned for going there. The CTC aviation facility, that has moved in. We had the ribbon cutting. It was a great event. They're out of their old building now permanently, working with them to get their planes relocated that were over at their old building. We're working through that now. Ray's been working on that. Our perimeter road, we're finalizing the punch list. They were out there yesterday doing that. That project is going to be closed out. That is done. Our commercial terminal expansion, which is the biggest project we have going right now. Anytime y'all would like to come over and do a tour, I'll be more than willing to take y'all out there. But the progress that has been made probably since the last time a lot of y'all have seen it, You can really see the building coming together. The walls, pretty much half the building is dried in right now. Putting the windows, the roof is on, they're working on the storefront doors. A lot of the mechanicals are going, but you can really see the terminal take shape and form as to what it's going to be. Yes, sir.
If we schedule that, which I'm in the process of doing, will we be able to tour the baggage handling
Yeah.
while it's in operation?
We can do a full airport tour.
Okay.
Yeah,
At any time.
Okay.
I went through the expanded construction, last week. People are going to be impressed on what's going in there for this size airport. It's really cool. You better take a scooter with you because from one end to the other end, it's a long walk,
It's not quite Atlanta Hartsfield,
but close. It's going to be impressive. It really is.
What's the open date on that?
It's going to be opened in phases. Half of the terminal, which if you walk now, you'd see it's being completed, will open into July, August. Once we open that up, it'll move where we start phasing around the other openings, and we're moving the TSA, renovating the existing. But the first phase of the new terminal will be open in July. We have a lot of the exterior concrete work being completed. The new tug path will be completed in the next 2 weeks. They'll be moved around permanently. We started renovating the inside of the terminal. We shut down another big space the other day. Now the season has slowed down. We took about 180 seats out so they can start putting in the exit lane breach control. That's one step that we have to have done before we open the next phase of the terminal. We have the tunnel walkways that go through the existing building. They're going to remove the first set of those starting next week. We're going to close it down. And then when the new terminal is open, we'll remove the other 2 tunnels as well.
If you haven't been in front of the terminal building, there's a brand new sign. It's it's pretty impressive. It's impressive at night. And I understand Kaylee was responsible for the graphics. It's pretty impressive.
so Kaylee's, we're slow rolling our updated logo. So
We do have an agency that helps.
yeah. So,
I can't take all the credit.
Couple more on here. Taxiway C reconstruction. We're working on final punch list on that and final striping. Our taxiway Alpha, they're going to finish paving today if they haven't already. Then they're going to move over to the apron. But on taxiway Alpha, we're getting towards the end where we're connecting to 422 and through the fence. We're going to do that portion. Well, the through the fence customers will be closed off for 7 to 14 days of accessing that. They've been notified. We've given them ample time. We're going to let them park on the ramp if they want to get their planes out of those hangars. But the contractor will do that as quick as he can. Once that next phase is done, then the final phase of the taxiway Alpha reconstruction is closing down to 422 to do that connection. That closure is stated to be 20 days long, and that's going to happen towards the end of May.
So we currently have all the runways open.
All the runways are currently open. The taxiway Alpha past Gulf is closed at this moment.
Okay.
But once this project is done, the runways and taxiways, all that will be rehabbed or reconstructed within the past 5 years. And then the next, obviously, the one taxiway Delta and Foxtrot will be coming around the corner. The Air Center apron expansion, that is the expansion of the ramp and filling in those to make more ramp space. The first phase of that is done. They're going to start paving today once they finish up Alpha and start paving tomorrow as well. Once that is complete, they'll move on to the next phase, which is the other half of that. That's going good. Been no issues over at the Air Center. And then Building 97 replacement, that's the Air Trek building. They're currently putting the skid on the side. They have the office almost dried in, and they'll start building out the offices in there here probably the next month, and then start working on the interior of the hangar. Any questions? I know it's a lot.
I think we might have skipped the FBO hangar.
FBO Hainer, I did. The FBO Hainer, everything in there, the site is filled. That's all up to grade. We're currently waiting on the metal building delivery date. That's always the big one. Spoke with the metal building manufacturer yesterday. He's supposed to give me something by the end of this week. The slabs hopefully starting next week or two. They haven't been a big rush just because the building hasn't been, we haven't got delivery date on that yet. But I'm expecting at least 8 weeks out on that. But that one has started and moving forward.
Okay. Guess we go on to marketing update. Ms. Miller.
Okay, good morning, commissioners. Kelly dropped off a marketing report for all of y'all this morning. You'll see a common theme is positive media exposure that we received for having really low TSA wait times. And that's because PGD is part of the TSA Screening Partner Program. We've been a partner for about 10 years now, so we've gotten a lot of positive media exposure for that. You can see James Parrish was on Wink News, interviewed there, and both Ray LaRoche and James have done a couple other interviews with WGCU Media, as well as Airport Improvement Magazine, so you'll continue to see that. PGD is leading the way in that program, and we're a really great example of that regulatory shift that if you have any questions about Ray or James can tell you more. Also in here, on the last page, you talk a little bit about the Fly My Airport search engine that we installed a couple months ago on our website, and that's been going well. We've had about 25,000 searches on our website alone for destinations, and those turn into bookings as well. So we can kind of track that more closely. And we've also tracked destinations that people are looking for and interested in that we don't have, like, for example, Boston and Philadelphia. And a lot of people continue to search for Washington, Dulles, and Midway. So it's really giving us some great data that we can use in our air service development efforts. Next month, we'll have more information about a new air service development position and a person that we've hired. We'll introduce you to him next month at the board meeting. So look forward to that. And also, as Mr. Hansick mentioned, the Fly PGD logo refresh, so to speak. You know, we're keeping some of the same components of the logo, but we're going to refresh it, modernize it a little bit. And we'll be rolling that out in mid-May digitally, and then little by little updating signage around the airport and things like that, business cards. So more to come on that as well. So thank you all for your participation and continuing to support communications and share positive things about the airport.
Okay, I think it's worth mentioning that congratulations to Ray LaRoche, who's being featured by a industry organization called Trade Flock as one of the USA's most influential COOs, Chief Operating Officer. How do you deal with that?
By phone.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Ray, you're up.
So, to follow that up, I want to point out that over the first 3 months of this year, calendar year, we did just over 700,000 passengers, which is on the next slide. But our team could not be more proud of our team and how they dealt with all the challenges, not just regulatory challenges, but trying to put a 50,000 square foot building in the middle of our operation during a peak time is more than challenging, and our team handled it pretty much flawlessly throughout the entire construction process over season. In addition to that, we picked probably the worst possible time, not by choice, but to start up our baggage handling system. And again, just the amount of teamwork and effort from everybody on staff jumping in and helping out and getting through the initial phases of startup and to where we are today has been amazing to watch. So I appreciate our team and their efforts in that. Total ops for March were down. A few reasons, again, challenges that you don't see every day, other than construction and weather, fuel prices, right? We went from, on 3/10, our self-serve gas price was $4.64. That went all the way up to $6.12 over the last month. Avgas off the truck was at $5.74 when we started. That went up to $7.22 over a month. And Jet A went from 581 to 836. So that definitely had an impact on our operations in March, along with the weather and construction on the airfield. As expected, our passenger count remained pretty much flat. We were down about 1.5% in March over previous year. Again, we've expected that. The carriers had shared that with us going into this year. So we're seeing pretty similar to 2024, where we remained flat and ended up about 1.5% to 2% over at the end of the year from the previous year. Avgas gallons sold off the truck again. That was down about 4,000 gallons from the previous March. Avgas gallons sold at self-serve stayed pretty flat. That's our flight schools continued to fly, and even though facing those challenges with weather and construction, they continue to operate pretty heavily through March. So we appreciate them keeping it going and training, even though we had some issues. Jet A gallons sold off the truck was down, not a lot, pretty flat for us. So happy to see those numbers stay relatively flat. And then airline gallons pumped were down quite a bit. The first week of the month, another challenge thrown at us was the Port of Tampa decided to close down. They don't give us any warning on that. We get notified as they do it that they're going to close down for several days. And our fuel farm team and the FBO management team then has to divert to other ports to get fuel and work with the air carriers on tankering fuel in. So that lowers the amount that we're putting on aircraft as we're waiting for the port to open back up and gain more loads. Once it opens back up, we then have to coordinate to get twice as many loads as we normally would to bring our supply back up. So again, just the challenges faced over the last 2 months have been pretty incredible, and you wouldn't know it as you shouldn't know it because of the efforts of our team. So.
Yeah, and just so you know, we get between 7 and 10 loads a day on a normal day. So we're filling 30 some odd aircraft during that same time. So we have to coordinate our trucks being refilled, those trucks coming in and offloading, testing all that fuel, and ordering all that fuel. And you know, we get reports daily, twice, 2-3 times a day. We order 10, we get 8. Truck breaks down. Allegiance added another trucking company, but we've been getting fuel from 3 different ports. And it has been very challenging. We're actually in talks right now with Allegiant about adding another 250,000 gallons to our farm, which would get us, we are at about a 4-day supply right now. If everything's running well, they'd like to be at a 5 at all times. And then during peak season, we're dropping below that significantly. So
You're talking about adding another 250,000 gallons storage?
yes. So
Well,
if that happens, well, obviously.
yeah, well, you'll be back and talking to us.
Thank you.
I do have one question, just for public information. I get it from time to time. How do we price our fuel? Is it LIFO, FIFO, or how do you determine what the sale is?
First in, first out.
First in, first out.
Yeah.
And that's, you adjust
So
that
you'll see
like
the fuel
every
change
week?
on Tuesdays.
Every Tuesday you change it based on
That's when we
FIFO.
update our pricing, yes, and receive loads for
Gotcha.
self-serve especially.
That's simple to explain. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ray and Brett and Kaylee. I just want to give you guys a quick update. We did a selection process after the 2 firms came and talked to us about the restaurant. And we are in the negotiation phase with Props Pizza. They are having right now, they're bringing in contractors to get a final price. And then we're going to go forward with a lease. Hopefully that'll be on next month's agenda. So, but that is moving forward. Exciting. We'll have a restaurant in our FBO after years of trying. So.
Okay. Not seeing any old business. We'll move on to agenda item 14, new business. T-hanger door replacement, Mr. Parrish.
All right. We have been I think we rejected all bids last year on a hangar door bid because they were just outside of our budget. We then have adjusted the budget. We are right now requesting the board approve a contract with JT Ruby. We have called all their references. We're comfortable with them. We've never worked with them before, but we're comfortable with them. They are using the Hydro Swing door, I believe. High powered, sorry. The Hydro Swing is the one we don't talk about anymore. That'll be coming off the building. High powered doors going on, and our goal would be to do half the north side of each of the 600 series over the next 5 years. So going to start with the worst one and then move. We're also going to put gutters on those buildings, so we reduce some of that daily deluge of water that sits on those doors. And we think that'll make them last a little longer. Keep in mind, these are 20-plus-year-old doors, so it's time to start replacing them.
And the bid is for replacing 10 doors, right? Is it 10 doors?
12 doors.
12 doors. So 12 into 680,000.
It's a lot.
It's an expensive door.
It's an expensive door, and so that is,
Last year, bids came in about $50,000.
yeah, and so we had to narrow quantify the scope a little better for the contractors, so they understood exactly what they were doing. And so I think we'll get a good product out of it. We really like the higher power doors. They are a little more stable when they're up, and that's the one we have almost exclusively gone to, although we can't specify it. We specify a door very similar to it.
We're responsible for maintaining them, correct?
Yes.
How many doors do we have to replace?
We're gonna replace all the ones on the north side of the 600 series. There's 12 in a row.
So yeah, we got about 45 doors in total to replace.
They're all pretty bad. It's the inside, it's the superstructure part of it, it's the bottom plate.
What happens because of the north side, the dew that comes off of the roof on the hangar building itself travels down the door. And on the Hydro Swing doors, they have the superstructure at the bottom with a step plate to go in through the man door. The water sits on that step plate and seeps back into the building, and it's rusting away the entire structure between the outside of the door and the inside of the door. By the time it shows itself as an issue, you would have to either replace the bottom half of those doors, which we looked into at a cost of about $35,000 a door, or just replace the whole door.
Yeah, so we looked at a lot of options because obviously you don't want to spend this kind of money on a hangar. That obviously this is 10 years worth of rent to recoup this. So, but this is the best option. We did have a company come in and look at just replacing the bottom half of each door. That was about half the price, but it still left 20-year-old hydraulics and hinges and everything else that ultimately we're going to have to replace. So this gets us a new door, and we're comfortable with the higher power doors. I think you met them in.
And about 6 years ago, we replaced all of the 3 rows in the 200s as well with the same type of door, and we've had a lot better results on the maintenance with those.
So this is replacing 12. Do we have an idea when the other 33 would be coming through?
We're going to do one a year. So this is the worst row, and we're going to do a little bit of maintenance on the others as we move forward.
So we won't have that issue again, or
well, that's what.
So this door, the higher power door, has the superstructure in the middle, and if we add a gutter, you don't have the superstructure with that plate at the man door to go in. It's not seeping the water back in towards the hangar door itself. So with the issue with the rusting and all of that goes away, and we haven't found that in the other hangars that we've installed these doors on. So that's why we're trying to stay with that, so that it's less maintenance. And overall, the higher power door is a lot less maintenance anyway because of their design of the hydraulic system. So,
and what was the amount that we budgeted for this year?
750,000. 750.
Have we gotten bids yet on the gutters?
No,
No.
No? And what kind of time frame for that to be?
the gutter would happen once the entire row is done. We'll probably come out and cut the gutter at the same time. But linear footage wise, I'm guesstimating about 20,000. Put a gutter and downspouts on one row. Doors first and the gutter.
So we're only gonna put gutters just on the north side.
Correct. Correct. We don't have a problem with the south side because that gets most sun.
Okay, if we're done with the questions, entertain a motion to allow Mr. Parrish to enter into a contract to replace the doors.
I'll move to approve item 14A to permit Mr. Parrish to execute the T-hanger door replacement contract with JT Ruby Consulting in the amount of $681,350.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. The next item is so we put the wall around maintenance and operations, kind of a test. We really like the way it functions and the lack of visibility. It blocks out very well compared to the chain link. So the next one we want to do is basically behind rental car all the way to the terminal. That currently is a 6-foot fence that we added 2 feet to it and then barbed wire on the top. It is then got plastic PVC screening inserted into it. Every time the winds goes over 60 miles an hour, it blows down. So this would be a permanent solution to that. Price per linear foot slightly higher. They're going to have to vacuum out all the footings instead of just augering them because of all of the there's power, there's data, there's everything in that little 2-foot strip of non-paved land that the fence sits in. So, but we're excited about this as a solution, just for aesthetics and for security along that back wall. The contractor we have 2 now, we have 1 more coming. Obviously, it won't be any more than signature privacy walls. But if you look at the contract, it's a total of $155,000. That includes the vac truck and the temporary fencing. Again, this is a SIDA fence, so we're going to have to put in permanent temporary fencing. It can't just be on little stands so we're using concrete barricades with fencing mounted on top. They'll be handling all of that and the vac truck as part of this project.
So why 175?
175 in this particular area, there's a lot of utilities and unknowns that have been there forever. So I put that in there as a do not exceed, just so we don't have to come back to the board at a further date. For that, I feel that that's enough money to get us through there.
And this was a non-budgeted item?
It is budgeted.
As part of the
Capital.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I think we had 200,000 in capital.
So we're currently at 8 feet, and what are these prefabs gonna?
They'll be 10
They'll be
feet,
10 feet?
and we're working with TSA to hopefully not have to put barbed wire at the
So
top.
that was a discussion with
like a
TSA. We showed them the 8-foot wall around M&O. They came out and looked at it. They asked if I would put 3 strands of barbed wire on top of it, and I asked them to climb it. So we agreed on 10 feet
Without barbed wire?
without barbed wire.
And what kind of wind resistance we gonna have?
These are 170 mile an hour, so I hope maintenance won't be picking these up after the storms.
Yeah, it's the same style as.
It's exactly the same as
looks
that,
good.
just taller.
Almost looks like vinyl from a distance.
But it's solid concrete panels. Basically, it comes as a column and a panel, and they put the columns in, then they slide the panels down.
You're gonna have camp,
What was your cost of linear foot?
cost of linear
Is that
foot.
important to you, Mr.
I know,
Crum?
Well, you take that number and you
divide it by
divide
the
by
number
the
of
number of
square
square
feet.
feet.
I don't
his
have-
yard.
I
you
could do
know.
math, I'd have been an engineer. Oh.
Thank God.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve 14B staff recommendation as presented.
Now, for multiplying by 33%, I can do that.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to allow Mr. Parrish to execute a contract for the new security wall at the rental car center. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried unanimously. You putting the cameras on that thing,
We have plenty of cameras
On the
out there.
on the wall?
That area is already covered,
Okay.
pretty well with camera.
Next, Ray, you want to handle the next one?
Actually, Mike Anderson from the air show is here today to talk
Okay.
to you about the next item on the agenda. If Mike would like to come up.
You know, when they send a guy with a gun, it's gonna be.
Mike Anderson, Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, Vice President, Florida International Air Show. First off, to support the board and the authority and the airport, Ray, Josh has given us in the past. It's just been tremendous. Obviously, without your help, we couldn't give back to the community with all the donations that we give to the nonprofits in this community. We are again seeking a license agreement for 2 years, for this year and next year, for the air show to be again held here at your airport.
What's the dates for this year's air show?
First week of May, November again.
First week of November.
November
Was it
7th.
Second and third?
7th.
Seventh and
Seventh.
eighth.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve 14C as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and seconded to approve the 2-year lease license agreement for the Florida International Air Show. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried unanimously.
We thank you for your support.
I might add that Mr. Anderson makes a great Leadership Charlotte Vice Chair. 2010, yellow.
Makes a what?
Leadership Charlotte Vice Chair in 2010, he was our group.
And I thought he was here to protect me from the attorney.
I need more than a gun for that.
All right, well, thank you.
I think we need to separate them.
Our next, he's here to help. You.
Oh, I am.
yeah.
How
So
bad it'd be if I wasn't here.
our
Your
next
mic is
item,
on.
can I continue?
Yes.
Mr. Chair. Next item we have is the master plan consultant selection. We have, we only had 3, so it was easy to get the top 3. But all 3 are very, very qualified firms that we've worked with in the past. So I don't think you can make a bad decision. But we're going to let them present. I would ask that the non-presenting firms step outside, just so it's as fair as possible.
The fire chief's here, so he can go turn the air conditioner on the new fire truck
Yeah,
and can sit inside,
And
right?
so we purposely have broken the air conditioner. Yeah, I didn't put anything. That truck was made in Minnesota. It was cold. It was 14 degrees when we looked at it. You didn't dare. So the air conditioner is not working in this room. So if you guys can speed things up, we only have one of the 2 working. So
It's working now. It's gonna take a second to catch up.
yeah, don't tell them that. Air conditioner's not working. So.
Sorry.
And why don't we go alphabetically? Start with
Because
AECom.
this is in reverse order of the scoring that.
Well, we don't care about your scoring yet at this point.
So that's how we told them they're presenting. That's how it's in this proposal, in the thing. So
Okay, as long as you got
I'd
something out there.
like to invite ESA up first.
Okay.
And I thought it was just an exciting meeting, but apparently it's just a bunch of.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm just letting you know.
We'll wait to start until Steve comes back.
All right, they say
Well,
never
wait,
let them see
wait.
you sweat, but boy.
Yeah, why don't we get one of our commissioners to step out
Sure.
for a second? If we could just Would,
Do you go that way or that way? Restroom, okay.
You know, actually, Mr. Anderson retired from the sheriff's office. I was surprised to see him.
you get to keep the uniform and the gun.
No, you don't either. Is he still here? Did
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray, didn't he retire from the SF? Is he back?
Yeah, he's a, yeah, reserve. But yes.
I was pretty sure he did, because I saw him like the day after his retirement. He's on his motorcycle, had a big cigar, and he's sitting in a traffic light.
Either that or he didn't turn in all his uniforms.
Okay.
All right.
He keeps it for traffic stops. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for waiting. You're inside waiting, so they're outside now.
Yeah.
I can feel the air starting now, so that's good.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, very good. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I'm Mike Arnold. I am a senior vice president with ESA and would serve as project director if ESA is selected for this opportunity. I'm really excited to have an interview team here with us. Doug, Julie, and Pete. Doug is a senior aviation planner with extensive planning experience, not only in the state of Florida, but nationally. And has led a number of industry working groups that really help form the way that we do aviation planning today. Julie Sullivan has extensive experience working here at the airport for the last decade. And Julie brings program implementation strategy side of things to the table. She understands the unique environmental constraints of the airport, operational factors that we need to consider when vetting alternatives and making sure that those alternatives are viable. And ultimately, as we develop our capital program and the phasing, incorporate the federal and state regulatory requirements so that that capital program can be implemented in a seamless fashion. Pete Ricondo with Ricondo represents his firm's aviation. Ricondo is the largest airport planning and financial consultancy in the United States. We've worked extensively with Ricondo, not only in planning projects throughout the state of Florida, but nationally. And combined, we have more than 100 years of aviation planning experience right here in Florida. ESA is an aviation consultancy. We have two primary focus areas. One is master and strategic planning. The other is environmental, noise, and resilience. You primarily have worked with us on the latter, but we want to introduce you to us in the former. We have experience at more than 250 airports throughout the United States. That includes hundreds of projects at 50 airports right here in Florida. So we really understand Florida aviation. In fact, we are the FDOT's statewide aviation planning consultant. We're really good at bringing stakeholders together and securing alignment. Sometimes stakeholders' goals and objectives vary, but we're very good at developing plans that everyone can get behind and support. 100% of ESA employees own shares in ESA. A lot of firms say they're 100% employee owned. Every employee at ESA has an ownership stake, which we believe results in better responsiveness, better results, better client commitment. And we have 75 staff here in 5 Florida offices. And Florida is where all of our planning for the country is based. We not only work extensively in the master plan arena, we have extensive knowledge of the dynamic nature of Florida aviation, especially over the last decade. The amount of growth that we've seen in new MRO facilities and aircraft manufacturing facilities and air cargo and just a variety of different factors in aviation. But we've also are very familiar with the demand factors and what's going on in Southwest Florida, the seasonal peaking characteristics and the challenge that presents, the leisure traveler, the extreme demand for hangarage. We've seen, if you look at the projections of aviation activity in the Southwest Florida, we're outpacing all those projections in general aviation activity, both in terms of flight training. You're about triple what the forecast in the last master plan was right now, and itinerant aircraft. So you're about double there. So we understand the dynamics there, and we also understand where the opportunities might play for the future in the region. We have a lot of tools that we employ when we implement a master plan, but I think the key is just how we approach it. We're very focused on establishing a clear set of goals and objectives at the outset. And those are really the guiding principles that transition through every aspect of the planning effort. We continue to come back to those and make sure that we're actually achieving the economic outcomes and the revenue diversification outcomes and all of the other outcomes that you're looking to achieve with this plan. We also incorporate branding in that process. So we'll want to make sure that it really represents your interests. Our track record of successful outcomes is really represented by a number of dots on this map. Doug and I, our project manager, have 60 airport master plans in which we worked on, half of which are in the state of Florida, 15 of which are in just the last 10 years. Those are the blue dots on that map. If we were to take the experience that Recondo has, we'd add 22 more blue dots on that map. 37 airports that ESA and Recondo have experience on. Essentially, as you look at how things evolved throughout Florida aviation, the impacts of the last recession and what that did to aviation here, and then as how things have accelerated over the last 10 years in particular, we've done probably 75% of the master plans that have helped airport prepare for that extreme growth that's taking place in the industry today. And zeroing in on a couple key airports with similar considerations, St. Pete Clearwater Airport with Allegiant. We're very used to working with Allegiant Airlines. Southwest Florida and Naples airports. Recondo just supported us in doing a regional assessment of the demand characteristics for the entire Southwest Florida region to understand whether relocating Naples Airport was feasible and what that airport might look like if they were to select to relocate that airport. And then we have a lot of commercial service airport experience at emerging commercial service airports such as Gainesville, Melbourne, Lakeland, and Vero Beach. So we have extensive experience throughout the state. Doug is going to talk a little bit about our experience with the system level, which is going to be really important for your next plan.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning again. Yeah, in addition to all of our master plan experience, we're also very proud of the fact that we do a lot of work around the state for FDOT Aviation Office. We have been for the last 7 years, and in fact, we were the first planning firm that the state hired to do those on-call services. And over those 7 years, we've done a number of different projects for the state. But most recently, we've helped them with the advanced air mobility, the emerging technology, preparing the local municipalities and airports with preparing for that industry that's coming potentially in the next couple of years. That culminated in a land use guidebook. In preparation for that guidebook, we ran a lot of committees, had some tabletop exercises, and even conducted 32 different workshops around the state last year with local elected leaders and planning types all across all 7 FDOT districts. More recently, FDOT has asked us to help them develop a state grant priority tool. This is in response to the fact that FDOT Aviation will now have a significantly lower budget the next 3 fiscal years due to cuts. And they're trying to figure out how best to utilize the more limited resources they have now. And the development of that tool will help them hopefully enhance the work program that they are going to have to work with over the next 3 years. Similar, we've been working with FDOT in the last 2 years and continue to on the Florida Aviation Database. This is the FAD, as a lot of us call it. This is a module that most of us in the industry use on a daily basis. And the most popular module of that is the Joint Automated CIP, which is the one that the FAA, FDOT, and your airports, all airports, utilize to manage all the grants in the state every year. In fact, my team will be meeting with your staff early next month to get their input on this JSIP module to see how we can make it better moving forward. In addition to our master plan capabilities, we have 5 support firms on our team. Recondo, as Mike has mentioned already, will certainly be assisting with the commercial service planning, financial analyses, air service studies that'll be crucial. Avcon is on our team for engineering support. Most importantly, realistic cost estimating. No development program is going to make a lot of sense or give you any benefit if it's not got some realistic estimating. Survey and Mapping, a local firm, is going to help us put together or update your Exhibit A airport property map. And then Martinez Geospatial is going to do the very specific and very precise mapping that the FAA requires as part of their Airport Geographical Information System, or AGIS survey that they're requiring as part of this effort. And finally, last but not least, EG Solutions, no stranger to this airport and certainly to our team. We've worked with them at your airport for a number of years. They will help provide the stormwater and regulatory compliance that we know will be an important part of any master plan element moving forward. Not only are these all trusted partners of ours for many years on planning studies, but I wanted to point out EG Solutions, Recondo, and Avcon have also been a part of our FDOT planning team for the last 7 years. Mike touched on the strategic approach. Certainly the FAA and FDOT have very prescribed methods of the elements that they want to see and we include in the master plan process. But as Mike kind of alluded to, what's important for us is at the onset, we need to understand your goals and objectives. And that way we can ensure that we're putting the resources necessary to those elements of the study that are most critical for your success and your ultimate vision. Forecasting is certainly a significant element. I'll touch on that in a second. We need to be flexible and be able to respond to different changes in the industry. And early understanding of the constraints that we're working with. There's definitely a lot of constraints with community and all that, but certainly on the ground at the airport, environmental drainage constraints are significant as we move forward, and nobody knows your airport better with respect to environmental and drainage type issues than our team in EG Solutions. As we move towards the back of the study, certainly a flexible framework is something we need to have. There will be changes in this industry. I think we all know that, being aviation types. There will even be changes during the course of the master plan study that we have to be able to address. And as we get to the back of the study, certainly the working end of the stick, as I like to call it, we will be looking at every opportunity for both financial grants, but also economic development to not only create a resilient outcome or project or program, but one that's sustainable for your airport. I'd like to touch on a few of the considerations that we've been thinking about. Certainly these would be discussed early in the process, but it's been said even in your staff report that you continue to grow. You certainly have exceeded the forecasts that are in the current master plan, and this is something that needs to be addressed right in the onset of the new master plan. Not just a standard forecasting approach, but scenario-based forecasting is what we would do. Not so much high and low growth scenarios, but more specific and multiple what-if scenarios for multiple airline potential operations, additional GA activity, different scenarios that will help you be a little more flexible to be able to create different development strategies through the master plan process to react to changes in the industry. We've touched on a couple times, again, with your reports. It's no secret that you see the chart there. That's for your airport. It's a very seasonal operation here in Southwest Florida and certainly Punta Gorda. And that's something that needs to be carried certainly in the forecast element, but all the way through the study, in that we need to make sure we're not forgetting who we're serving, the seasonality of your residents, and the leisure market in itself. Passenger amenities. The low-cost customers have always been ones that wanted to select their amenities on a flight, their a la carte, if you will. But that's certainly something that you well know is turning or spilling over into the terminal side and your facilities that you provide them here. And as those passengers become more discerning, we certainly need to keep that in focus because that is an evolving thing. And we want to make sure that your terminal, even with the current program or future programs, remains a passenger-friendly facility. And diversification of air service. We heard Miller talk about it earlier, but certainly, the air service development is a key component of this master plan. We have done that before. Mike kind of alluded to it a little bit. We just recently helped Vero Beach with their master plan and doing that element of their study. And we're currently helping Lakeland look at a second carrier at their airport. Last, I just wanted to touch on a few issues that are more, for the whole overall airfield. You're kind of in a transition, we believe, between what we call first and second generational growth. Quite frankly, land's becoming limited on the air side with respect to some of the facilities you can build, and that makes things land as a premium. And as you well know, relocating or redeveloping, but certainly relocating facilities is a significant cost versus a greenfield construction. But also what I'm really trying to say here is that we need to take a hard look and determine for the entire airfield, what is the highest and best use of the different parcels that we have out there, whether they're currently being used or not. The last thing I'll just touch on is that I talked about certainly the diversifying or trying to expand your commercial service development, but that's true for also all aspects of the airport. We need to look at every opportunity that's out there for you all to diversify your revenue streams, certainly on the aviation front, but we don't want to forget the very important non-aeronautical non-aeronautical opportunities that you may have. With that, turn it back to Mike.
Thank you, Doug. So basically, in closing, why select ESA? Our deep aviation planning experience and understanding of the Florida market. We understand the constraints in the Florida market and where they may open up opportunities for Punta Gorda. We also understand the regional demand characteristics and the ways to and strategies to address those. I think the key is, though, that as we look at this, we're not focused on this as a plan. It's really a decision framework. It's trying to put together a strategy that allows you to adapt as opportunities present themselves so that you can act quickly. We see opportunities pop up overnight in Florida, and we know we're right on the front end of helping clients manage through and take advantage of where those opportunities are. But it's also, really building in the flexibility to allow you to adapt and ultimately maximize your revenue generation and your economic value for the long term. It's a buildable program, not just in terms of constructability, but making sure that it's financially feasible and that our experience dealing with the priority system and the other grant work that we do throughout the state will position the airport to take full advantage of the opportunities that are available for implementation. And then finally, results. ESA is in it with you. We are really committed to your success. It's demonstrated with our clients. If you called any of the dots on that map, they would tell you that we give the absolute most top-notch service. 85% of the work that we do comes through repeat clients, and we've been working successfully with you for 10 years, and we'd love to help have the opportunity to plan your future. And with that, I'll ask if there's any questions.
Questions from the commissioners?
Mike, thank you for presenting here today. I know we heard from you and Doug. What role are Julie and Pete going to have with the planning?
Sure. And actually, I'm going to let Julie speak to that because she's been doing a lot of work here, and we've worked extensively with her and coordinated those.
Hi, Julie Sullivan. Nice to meet you all. Thank you for allowing us to present today. So I really, on the master plan, my role is in the constraints and alternatives development. We lead with the environmental side, the regulatory side, the NEPA side of things, and making sure that as we're evaluating opportunities on the airport, that we're looking at it through the lens of all of the constraints that may be in the way or that may cause one process to be more difficult to implement than another. And that's where my part is really on that part. And then also on the stakeholder involvement. One of the things that my team really excels at as well is participating in all of the stakeholder outreach events, working through all the workshops that we might have, building community trust and working with the public and the various stakeholders to get that alignment that we're looking for as we move through the process.
And Pete will be basically supporting the commercial service development and financial planning. And I'm going to have Pete come up and talk a little bit about his firm's capabilities in that area.
Good morning, Pete Wakanda, Associate Senior Vice President. I've worked with Mike my whole career. Can't say that about too many people. So all 35 years, I've had the pleasure of working with this gentleman. We're really seamless with ESA in the way our two companies work. I think our unique perspective to you is that we have not worked here. So we're going to bring kind of an outside fresh perspective from our experience in the 22 airports that complement Mike's 15s, or ESA's 15s. We're purely an airport consulting and planning firm. That is all we do. We do not work in other industries, and we do not work on the design and construction side of projects intentionally. I'm a PE by license, but we feel that staying on the planning side and focusing on that and consulting for airports as they move capital programs takes away the vested interest or the conflict of interest potential that may exist with future design projects and the like. Our side is mostly on the financial and business, like we said. We do a lot of master planning and strategic planning, but we really put a lot of emphasis on making sure the plans have a pretty sound financial plan on the backside to carry them forward. And we believe that will be hopefully a different, unique perspective. And something that Mike said, this is not a plan as in a study that you put on the shelf. A master plan becomes like your playbook, a roadmap, but it's more of a playbook because you got to have a lot of flexibility in the airport industry to pivot and adjust. I think the scenario planning that Doug described is set up to not only give you all the possible answers, but for you to understand a wide array of opportunities and impacts that different growth scenarios may have to allow your own team to make decisions with the information that that plan provides. So, thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Sean, anything? Good. Okay, I have a couple of questions. The first two are kind of interrelated.
Sure.
I might mention all of the commissioners had a copy of the RFP, so they understand what everybody's aiming towards. Based on your workload, what would you anticipate the time of the study? Talking a year, year and a half, or just purely a guess I'm looking at?
I think it really is up to you because as Julie referred to, the working sessions and you know how that plays out, the number of working sessions that you would like to have and how your thoughts will evolve during that time frame or process. Generally, we're probably looking at about a 15-month time frame on a master plan.
And a couple of things I heard you mention. It seems like you guys are thinking out of the box a little bit. It sounds like you're going to be looking at land utilization, and I assume that's going to be for a whole new midfield terminal on the other side at some point. I know he doesn't agree with it, but
Not in my career here.
well, I might be around. No, I won't be long around. We'll probably go together. Okay. Huh?
No.
Well, he's good for 5 years. I'm good for 4, maybe. Anyway, success with the FAA on approval?
Yeah, we are super successful just because we've worked with virtually every FAA reviewer extensively. Combined ESA and Recondo have submitted more planning documents through the FAA or Orlando ADO than all other firms combined over the last 10 years. So we've got 3 forecasts in front of them right now, just since the first of the year. I think the key is when you talk about the time frame for the study, and that's exactly right, FAA forecast approval process is one of those elements that sometimes can take time. And with FAA limited resources, we sometimes have to elevate that to Washington, to headquarters to expedite. And we are very successful in doing that, working with Kent Duffy at the headquarters level, who is reviewing those forecasts and helping move those forward. So the FAA applies, it's interesting, FAA applies a similar skeptical approach in reviewing forecasts throughout the country. But Florida airports blow the forecasts out of the water. And the challenge is that they oftentimes are forgetting that. They're reviewing the forecasts coming out of Florida with the same skepticism that they see in areas of the country that are not growing at the rate we are. So it's really important for us to be able to explain and communicate that to the FAA and help them understand the dynamics and why we're forecasting and projecting what we are.
Okay.
I would add that we do have between us and Recondo a number of the former FAA folks working on staff to support us in this as well.
Yeah.
We've got the in-house knowledge from the agency as well. So.
Okay. Have you guys worked? Maybe that's what this new thing is called, as relations to the air taxis.
Yeah, that's the AAM.
Is that what they're calling? They call that now?
AAM, Advanced Air Mobility.
The advanced, yeah. I will just say there's a lot of skepticism about it. Florida is, yeah, right? So, but, you know, I know Orlando, we're involved in Orlando's helping them develop their facility, which will be part of the pilot project between Orlando, Tampa, and Suntrax, which is an FDOT research facility in between. And I think all of us, even those of us that think it's really cool technology, are a bit skeptical about how it's going to lay out and what it's ultimately going to mean.
How it's going to integrate.
Yeah. I was in Joby's production facility in Marina, California last week on Thursday, 1 week ago. And I will say it was one of the most impressive experiences that I've ever had. the amount of funding with Toyota and $1 billion, what they're doing there is pretty amazing. 2,500 employees.
Wow.
They're scaling, they're preparing to scale their production, and they have production facilities that are lining up throughout the country. So although I remain a bit skeptical and trying to understand how it's going to affect aviation transport of people in general, but especially our airports, I do anticipate that we probably need to just keep a strategy or approach of how we would handle it if it were to come in here.
Okay. My last question, you don't have to answer, is somewhat political. You mentioned Naples.
Yes.
You guys got an opinion on what's going on down in Naples?
You
don't have to answer that.
Yeah, I do. I will just say that working with Naples Airport Authority has been a pleasure. They are doing all of the right things to try to advance aviation for their community. And I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you.
Well, I agree, they need to. Okay.
Mike, I have one more question for
Yes.
you. How many clients do you guys currently, or how many airports are you guys currently working with right now in doing their master plans?
We're on call to 45 airports in Florida. I think we have 4 active master plans?
Three active.
Three active.
Three
master
active
plans.
right now, so adding one more wouldn't prohibit or.
And they're all in
hinder-
different phases of development.
workload.
So, yeah, we absolutely have the
I have a
capacity.
question. I seen
In
on
fact,
there
we
you
just-
guys are, you worked on the Fort Pierce Airport too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's moving along pretty good.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank
If
you.
you could step out and send in AECom if you could. Thanks.
Don't wait for me.
We'll wait.
They have to leave.
No, I mean, can they leave go home?
No, because we're going to make a decision. They might want to know.
Oh, I mean, but they're free to leave.
They're free to leave if they want.
You know, the one question I would ask is if they could go back 10 years ago and say, what did you miss that you wish you had?
They didn't, who did ours?
So AECom would be the one to ask that.
The
They
next
did it.
group would be the one to ask.
Oh, they did it 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys were.
No.
Now they've been, so just while we're waiting, Julie has been working with us for years on environmental.
Okay.
So, huh?
Hmm.
I know. Are they watching it on
Yeah,
YouTube?
they're all separate, but they all collaborate together.
Yeah. So, like I said, all of these firms are extremely qualified. We can't make a bad decision. All right.
He said not to wait for him.
Okay, well.
Okay. Let's go ahead and start.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
sir.
go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, James, airport staff. Thank you very much for inviting the AECom team to present our qualifications this morning for your next master plan update. And with that, I'd like to introduce the team. I'm Howard Klein. I'm with AECom. I'll serve as your project manager. Today we have Finn Bonset, also with AECom, serve as your deputy project manager. Terry Cartwright with Patel Green Associates will lead the environmental services. Dan Barton with Intavistas will lead the ground transportation services. And Monica Weddle with Leibowitz and Horton will serve as the lead for the financial aspects of the job. So a little bit about AECom. We are a large firm. We provide a full range of services from planning through construction management. So we understand the full nature of every project that we're proposing. We are ranked #1 in aviation by a leading trade journal. And you can see here we have vast air carrier airport experience across the country. A little closer to home here in Florida, you can see that in some capacity, we've worked at nearly every airport in the state, whether it be planning, design, construction. And that has given us really strong working relationships with the approving agencies, both at FDOT, the FAA at the Orlando Airports District Office, as well as the Southern Region in Atlanta. We've been providing services to the airport for nearly 2 decades. That's given us a really good understanding of your situation here. So a little bit more about myself. I've been at this for a little while. You can see that I've been fairly stable in the Tampa office for many years. I've conducted dozens of master plans across the country and done international work. And I think the most important thing I'd like to point out on this slide is the last two master plans, one at Sarasota, which is completed, the one at Savannah, which is about 60% completed. Those airports handle today over 2 million enplanements, which is where we could foresee your facility being at the end of the master plan that you're about to undertake. So the AECOM team, as I mentioned, Intavistas, Leibowitz and Horton, Patel Green, bring really solid credentials in their respective areas. In addition, we have two other team members. EF Gaines is Liz Gaines. She lives in Fort Myers. She's helped us out on airport property maps at numerous airports across Florida, and we've been thrilled with her services, so they're on the team. And then Wolpert, we've worked with literally for decades. They're one of the two major providers of aeronautical studies that we need to show the obstructions to the approaches here at the airport. So a little bit more on our history. In 2015, we began our planning work with the GA terminal relocation study that resulted in the terminal being moved to the north side of the airport. I was the project manager for the last master plan that received FAA approval, was very successful. The environmental assessment obtained clearance for the short-term program and enabled you to move forward with those projects. We did a north side plan. You often see this in your agenda packet to provide ideas on how that area can be developed. And then most recently, I was project manager for the terminal planning study, which established the space program as well as the configuration for your terminal expansion that's currently ongoing. So this slide here shows you that there was extensive projects that came out of the last master plan. As a planner, it was really rewarding to see how successful airport staff has been at implementing a wide range of projects and really making this airport grow. And, it gives our team a little sense of pride being a small part of that and seeing that it's furthering the development of Punta Gorda in Charlotte County. So the question is, that's all history. Well, what comes next? So on this slide, you can see on the right side is what you have under construction now. Whoops. And on the left side is some thoughts about what could be variations on the next expansion. So the current terminal study showed a ground boarding facility through the entire range, but we can look at options such as second level boarding for additional gates that might provide the authority with additional flexibility, especially on marketing of other airlines that may be interested in serving the airport. If you look behind the concourse, you'll notice it's one long continuous building, and that is proposing filling in the area that's between the current north end of the terminal and the rental car center. That's currently a parking lot, and that would provide room for the next phase of baggage claim expansion. So some additional ideas, and along with that, the development of areas for a curbside and parking are things that Dan will address on ground transportation. For the north area, I see the fonts have changed. So the general aviation area, corporate facilities, MRO options, we'll reevaluate on the north side. The photograph there is you might hear about eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. This is kind of the next thing facing the aviation industry. Advanced air mobility. So we'll look at, is there a potential for a good site up in North Quad as well as other quadrants of the airport? But that will be a focus in that area. What's the best and highest use of land use up there? And then this is showing your biggest opportunity for future development. You have about 240 acres over on the east side of the airport. So we're showing here a parallel taxiway on the east side of 422, along with just how much development. Now, that illustration is showing you probably far more development that would actually occur in that area, but it's giving you an idea of the magnitude of the opportunities you have there. We know environmental mitigation is a concern. Terry will talk to you about that. We have access that needs to be figured out. That's why Dan is on the team. And we'll also be looking at utility corridors and requirements for stormwater to match up with your stormwater master plan. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Terry.
Thanks. So when we're talking about the environment, first thing we wanted to do was look at the existing conditions on the airport to see what's out there. We know we have the terminal and supporting facilities on the west side of the airport. On the north side, we have the new GA terminal and other planned developments up in that area. Inside the security fence, it's mostly mowed and maintained areas. There are some ditches and other surface waters present, but the wetlands have been filled previously through other projects. There are documented occurrences of protected species on the airfield, including burrowing owls. There are several environmental documents that help regulate the activities on the airport, and that would be the environmental resource permit from the water management districts. You have the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer permits. You also have the wildlife hazard management plan. So what it really leaves, as Howard said, was that big area on the east side that allows for potential development. There are challenges there, though. As you can see on this slide here, the greens and the blues in that future development area are wetlands and surface waters. You have about 73 acres of wetlands and surface water. So what we want to do is get out there and delineate those wetlands so we could figure out how can we avoid and minimize, because anything that you hit, you're going to have to mitigate for. Mitigation can cost about $200,000 per acre that you hit. So by delineating, we can figure out exactly the cost you'd be looking at mitigation so you can obtain those funds. The other issue would be protected species. I mentioned the burrowing owl within the security fence, but in this area, there is suitable habitat for the bonneted bat, for the Florida scrub jay. Those would require mitigation too if we're hitting any of those occupied habitats. So we'd want to get out there and do surveys, figure out if they're there or not. We can work with the agencies and come up with a plan for assisting with potential impacts to those systems. And then, of course, we want to look at any concepts and see if there needs to be an amendment to the wildlife hazard management plan.
Thanks, Terry. I'm going to talk about the trends and technologies that we're seeing on the land side at airports. The first thing I'll talk about is transportation network companies, or Uber and Lyft. They continue to grow, so we've got to account for them. The second one up there is Turo. Turo is a platform where individuals can rent their individual cars. And you can see from that screenshot, there were 103 cars available on Turo yesterday here at the airport. That's pretty remarkable. We recommend you put them in parking facilities. So in the master plan, we have to account for where they go in those parking facilities. They're also stealing market share from those traditional rental car companies. And so we have to account for that as we think about the rental car needs going forward. There's some interesting technology. There's some AI camera technology that can track vehicles through the land side. Really neat things. And license plate reading technologies can make your parking facilities more efficient. Just the last one I'll mention are autonomous vehicles or driverless vehicles. So the middle one there, Waymo, they've been operating publicly in Phoenix for more than 2 years. And then these companies that are all listed, they're doing test programs in more than a dozen cities, including in Miami. So our autonomous vehicles or driverless vehicles are here in the state. We have to account for them as we go through the master planning process. Some specifics for here at the airport. First is the curbsides. We know in the CIP you have some curbside improvements for the next year. We'd also want to look at whether or not a second curbside is needed in the time frame of the master plan. Then there's that intersection with Golf Course Boulevard and Airport Road, where we've got people exiting the terminal area. Then you have rental car traffic. So on the left side of this diagram, you have your ready return, your rental car lot. And on the right side, you have your quick turnaround. That's what that QTA is. That's where they wash and fuel their vehicles. So the rental car companies are shuttling their cars back and forth across the terminal area while people are entering and exiting the terminal complex. So how do we simplify these intersections, especially that one on the left? And one idea we've talked about in the past is moving that quick turnaround to the left side of the screen there. So that would take all that traffic off the roadways. In orange, we're looking at a few parking facilities. These are opportunities to expand parking that have been identified in the past. We would look at when that's needed and which ones to prioritize. And then whatever we do, we have to make sure that we're compatible with the MPO's long-range transportation plan, which you were talking about earlier. So, yeah.
Good morning, Monica Weddle with Leibowitz and Horton. And just a quick chat on the financial piece. So Leibowitz and Horton had been privileged enough to work with the Punta Gorda Airport for almost 10 years now, primarily in 3 areas. We helped implement the airport's first passenger facility charge program and first application in 2016. To date, we're at application 4, and we've secured about $41 million of collection authority for your capital program, including some of the projects that Brent briefed on this morning, which was exciting to hear. We've also assisted with your rental car agreements. So the agreements that you approved this morning were actually the second round of solicitations that we helped you with. But also in 2019, we helped implement your customer facility charge, which to date has generated about $10 million of funding for the airport towards your program. Most importantly, though, for our conversation today, we were part of the AECOM team with your last master plan. And what that did for us is it really allows us to look at the overall financial environment at the airport, understand all the ins and outs of the airport's finances. And so what our job is on the master plan going forward is to help the airport develop a financial implementation plan that matches both capital and operating needs of the airport with the revenues that you have available with capital and operating, both in amount and in timing. So the timing of those funds has to match as well. So what we plan on doing is kind of using our 10 years of experience at Punta Gorda as a foundation. We're going to refresh our understanding of your financial environment because a lot has changed since the last master plan. You've had a lot of growth. So we're going to do that. We'll look at things like initial affordability. We'll look at debt service capacity. We may not want debt, but we'll look to see what the potential capacity is, what that amount might be, how it might be structured. We understand that you've recently renegotiated rates with Allegiant, so we're excited and interested to see how that results in improvements to the bottom line. And then just take into consideration any additional FAA or state funding, eligibility, changes to federal guidance regarding financial management, because what we want at the end of the day is to give you an updated financial implementation plan that gives James and the leadership the tools and the solutions that you need to be able to financially implement the capital improvement plan that results from the planner's study. And with that, I'll give it back to Howard.
All right, so why we believe you should select the AECOM team to conduct the next master plan update. We've proven our performance over long term with multiple planning studies. When you vote for us, you don't have to wonder, is this team going to deliver for you? We have delivered for you for a long period. We are responsive to airport staff. I and Finn are both local here in Florida. I'm located in Tampa. I can be here in 2 hours. We have decades of experience from the folks standing in front of you. We will produce a good master plan. Since we know your facility and we've been working here a long time, we understand the issues. We believe we can save you time and money on the front end of the study by not having to learn those facilities. We're going to bring you the right solutions. What do I mean by that? We know that you are a low-cost airport. You run on a low-cost business model. We are not going to bring you solutions that are unaffordable, unrealistic, or unobtainable. You've seen from the last master plan, you followed it very closely. We're very good at providing the right types of solutions. And we are focused on the future. You heard from Dan thoughts about autonomous vehicles. We will look at advanced air mobility. Where's the right locations for that? And with that, I would like to again thank the commissioners for giving us the opportunity to present to you today. And we're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, Commissioner, questions?
Mr. Klein, first, thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate it. If I saw correctly, you guys did the previous, or the master plan we're currently operating under.
That is correct.
I think it was January 2016 when it went into effect, if I saw the number correctly, or the date. I don't disagree with you guys. You have the proven experience and you have the proven performance with this airport. I wasn't here in 2016, so I haven't worked with you guys or the other two companies. So to me, you guys are coming in blind to me. In my 26 years, I've always said proven performance doesn't mean future success. Okay? So what I want to know from you is, what did you guys miss in your 2016 master plan to where we're at today?
So I think you've implemented somewhere, I would guesstimate, north of $100 million of improvements from the last master plan. It covered every aspect from airfield to terminal to support facilities to general aviation. There wasn't any aspect of that plan that you haven't already implemented over the last 10 years. So I would say to you, we didn't miss anything on the last master plan. It was extraordinarily comprehensive. It did not focus on just one aspect of this airport. It focused on all aspects of this airport. We're very proud of the master plan we produced here for you.
So where do you see aviation at in 10 years from now?
It's going to continue to grow. We're in a high growth area. We're in one of the fastest growing states in the nation. Punta Gorda is one of the fastest growing cities within the state. You're going to continue to get increases in both passenger employments on the passenger terminal, having all the facilities that need to serve them, rental cars, parking, terminal. You're also going to have, from all those new people coming in, general aviation, people demand for hangars. You're going to have, as more business develop, more corporate interests in facilities here. So I think it's going to span the whole range.
All right. So because I wasn't here 10 years ago, I also believe change is good. And if change is good, that means one of the other two companies could be selected here. So why should I want to keep you guys on for this master plan to lead us into the future?
I think, as you heard when we walked in, all the teams are qualified. They're all
completely agree
good
with that.
teams. They're all capable of providing good products to you. I think we've shown a passion. You know, we're here in multiple capacities: planning, engineering, environmental. We've had a passion to make this airport, in conjunction with staff, and help you continue to make it the best low-cost airport in the nation. We are invested in this. We spend a lot of hours working on it. It's more than just a project. It is a passion, and this team brings that passion to you.
So would you continue to be the lead point of contact?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I have a question. I was looking on there. Do you guys foresee future terminals? I didn't see anything on there like that.
We will explore a full range of options. However, I will give you my opinion on this topic. You just invested $40 to $50 million on terminal expansion. The study for the terminal shows future expansions in that direction. Given that you are a low-cost airport, it's a little bit hard to conceive of spending somewhere, I would guesstimate, in the range of $300 million to put a new terminal over on the east side of the airport, for example. And you'd be in the wrong place for airport access when you look at I-75. So will it be explored? Absolutely. Do I think that's a likely outcome? No.
Okay. Thank you.
Carol, your current workload in relationship to the time of the study, you might be forecasting the plan update would take? You got plenty of capacity. I mean, you're a big company.
Yeah, absolutely. So I showed you Sarasota. That's been long done. Savannah's, we're about 60%, 65%. I envision, you know, if you think about phasing and when a grant comes through with staff's work, that will probably be headed into the finish line. So yes, there's more than adequate capacity to undertake this.
So basically what you guys are looking at as a company is basically your current master plan efforts within the state of Florida.
Absolutely.
Not anywhere else in the
No, because we have multiple centers for aviation. We have a large airport planning
So
practice.
this team isn't traveling to Springfield, Missouri, or Detroit, Michigan, or something like that. This is your Florida team.
These are the people who will work on the job. We have formulated this team to make sure we are giving you the service that the authority expects.
Well, I like your comment in response to Steve's question, the question of looking outside the box. And you focused on being a low-cost airport. Now, is that going to constrain what we might take a look at in the future? And I understand the financing of big projects, especially with our current major carrier. So that would be a little bit of a concern that we don't ignore any possibilities, because times are going to change. You know, we might have, who knows, coming tomorrow.
So I think the way you address that is in the alternatives process, you look at a full range of alternatives. Don't limit yourself in the alternatives process to just a portion. Explore the alternatives, but when you get to the point where you're selecting a preferred alternative, you need to recognize those factors.
Well, we'll be looking to you guys for the alternatives because most of our commissioners are not of an aviation background, but
Understood.
they sure are businessmen and they know how to make these dollars and projects work. Okay. TJ?
Can I add to that a little bit? Intervistas offers the full suite of air service development services. So when we go through the forecasting effort, when we're looking at the growth that the airport might be able to experience, we'll be able to take that experience with air service development and see what those opportunities are. So we'll be able to really evaluate what those other carriers might be that might be interested in coming into the market and how that would impact the alternatives that we're looking at.
Okay. TJ?
Okay.
I got one question. Is Lynn still active?
Absolutely. Lynn and Steve are both. They apologize that they couldn't be here today.
Well, tell her I'm making a note of that.
Lynn just finished our renegotiation on the contract you guys just approved this morning.
On
the rental car, and
good. Those are good contracts.
She is always wonderful to have in a meeting with rental car people.
She's
tough.
pretty tough.
She is
she really
very
is.
tough.
Okay.
Just one thing.
Sure.
Just going back on the terminal plan side, I will be basically Howard's right man as a deputy project manager, but I also live in Florida. I work at just about every airport here. But what's great about the AECOM team is that, yes, AECOM is a large firm. Yes, we do large scale terminals projects, but we also do the mid-level small hub. We have Legion clients throughout the United States. So what's great about that is you get our national experience on those different types of terminals that we've done collectively over time. Whether you want to look at modular construction, whether you want to look at something that's middle of the road if an airline demands that from your side, for example. So it's that collective national experience that we can also bring as those alternatives for you to take a look at.
Well, obviously, you guys, because of your history here, you were able to do some preliminary look at what a master plan might encompass. To me, the east side of the airport is very important. There's a lot of wetlands out there and they need to disappear. And
they will disappear.
Yeah, you got to pay for it. $200,000 an acre. So
I thought you meant just disappear.
200,000 acres, 79 acres.
Yeah,
that's about $16 million.
That's a lot.
Well, that's we get grants for that. I assume there'll be an element of land acquisition somewhere in there, east side. I know you don't like that. But
No, there may be. I mean, there was land acquisition in our last master plan, and we
And
went
they
forward and bought it.
implemented
Yeah. So okay. Anything else, guys?
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Great to see you. Hi.
Fee structure for these companies, none of them speak to them.
You can't.
You can't.
So they will, once we select one, we'll develop a scope and a fee, and then we'll send it back to the FAA.
Their fee structure can't be, like how they charge, it can't be discussed.
The Brooks Act.
Brooks Act.
You can look that up when you get back to the
Look that up
office
when you
at
get
your own time.
We'll have another eye.
On his time, not our dollar.
Normally what happens is you pick number one, you sit down and you really don't like the fee.
Cannot consider.
Right.
So you can pick somebody based on their presentation, just like their fee schedule, say we're going to go to number two.
If you can't negotiate, it takes a fee.
Huh.
I mean, I know what it's gonna cost in my mind. And they need to be real close to that.
Those are 1986 prices.
No, they're not. 1986 price would be 200 grand.
So you don't hire these kind of groups on what I'll call a flat fee then?
No.
Not for them.
Uh-oh, and
Jobs for replacement. Pass those out. I realize we got a few minutes before we get started.
That's kind of the idea.
go ahead. You can check around. Just make sure,
I know, huh? Just jump into the women's restroom. Thank you, sir.
We didn't allow presentations, so we asked they all brought in these, and we used them as, they laminated, and we used them as placemats in the office for almost 3 years, so. They're not laminated this year, so. All right.
Yeah, huh?
You guys have everybody? Come on up.
Okay, Greg, you're up. Well, the other guys went over, so you got 3 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
Sure, what did we sign?
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
You do that.
Go ahead.
Are we ready to go?
Yeah, go ahead,
All
Greg.
right. Well, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today. It's our privilege to speak with you as we embark upon this, there you go, important phase of shaping the future of the airport. Master planning is more than a technical exercise. It's a strategic visioning process that determines how the infrastructure, operations, and community priorities come together to support the long-term growth and financial resiliency. Next slide. My name is Greg Heaton. I serve as a vice president with CM&T. I've worked in the aviation field for more than 40 years and have served hundreds of airports. Earlier in my career, I actually led our planning team and have completed a great many master plans. But today I lead our aviation team across Florida. With me are several key individuals of our team. Not everybody. We would love to have them all come. But those with Dave and I today are shown there on your placemats. That'll help you know names and faces. And all of the group is ready to answer any questions you may have for us. They also represent several of our partner firms. The next slide. Dave shows our entire team that will assist in the master plan. They're all seasoned aviation professionals and they represent the best in their disciplines. CM&T has worked with all of them before for successful projects. And I'd like to highlight 3 that we brought here with us today, some of whom you know well. Monica Weddle, of course, who you met earlier. Lynn, Monica, and their team have served the airport for more than 10 years as a financial consultant, helping you with rates and charges, concession agreements, PFCs, and the like, and understand your approach to fiscal responsibility. Sarah Thomas with EG Solutions. Sarah and her team at EG have worked for many years as well at PGD in various capacities, recently completing the Stormwater Master Plan, which a detailed analysis that provides to meet the increasingly stringent water management requirements while providing for that future controlled growth. And then thirdly, Amy Anderson with Environmental Resource Solutions. And while perhaps new to PGD, they are not new to CM&T nor to Florida environmental investigations and permitting. Amy spent early years of her career at ERS and recently has returned after more than 16 years with the FAA as a senior environmental specialist. She and her team at ERS will assist in ensuring the master plan is ready to go for implementation. Thank you for being here today. This team of yours brings an experienced, successful, and fresh perspective from folks that are known by you and trusted. Next slide. CM&T is a national ranked leader in aviation and airport development. We've served airports for more than 80 years, and with more than 550 professional staff, we serve hundreds of airports nationwide. We've also worked right here with you at PGD. Over the last several years, we've assisted in storm assistance after Hurricane Ian, ATC modifications, hold room electrification, parking analysis, and the Hangar 97 project, which I think is coming together quite nicely. We enjoy working with you all. And in particular to this task today, CM&T has completed nearly 30 master plan assignments in the last 5 years alone. We've completed those master plans at facilities in a wide range of environments, from complex commercial hubs to growing regional facilities. We've supported airports that are navigating rapid passenger growth or evolving airline business models, emerging technologies, and increasing sustainability expectations. That depth of experience allows us to anticipate challenges before they arise and identify opportunities that might otherwise be overlooked. And however, while that experience is critical, we firmly believe that no 2 airports and no 2 communities are the same. What works in one location cannot simply be replicated in another. And that's why our approach is not based on templates or assumptions, but on a tailored methodology designed specifically for Punta Gorda, your stakeholders, and your goals. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in just 1 minute. Next slide. Thanks, Dave. We begin that process by listening, understanding your operational realities, your constraints, your aspirations is foundational to everything we do. We engage with you early and often, the airport leadership, tenants, airlines, regulatory agencies, and the surrounding community to ensure that the plan will reflect a shared vision.
This collaborative process builds alignment and creates a roadmap that is both ambitious and achievable. At the same time, we bring a fresh perspective to every project. Even with decades of combined experience, we challenge ourselves to look at problems differently. Are there more efficient ways to phase development? Can technology reduce the need for physical expansion? Can the passenger experience be improved while optimizing operational performance? By asking these questions, we uncover innovative solutions that add value and extend the life of the investment. Our approach is also grounded in practicality. A master plan must be implementable. And so we focus on developing a clear phased development strategy that aligns with the financial realities and funding opportunities. Each recommendation is supported by actionable steps, allowing you to move confidently from planning to execution. As the executive in charge, my responsibility is to make sure Dave and the entire team have the resources they need, when they need them, and to ensure that the project achieves your goals on time and on schedule. And importantly, to ensure that quality reviews are accomplished so that the resulting project will meet your goals as well as the FAA and FDOT. Because frankly, what we produce is a reflection on the airport as well. Now, as I turn this over to Dave, who will serve as your project manager, I want you to help me in wishing him a happy birthday today. It's his actual birthday. We're glad he's here. Cupcakes in the car for after if you wish them. But before I hand it over, Dave has been with CMT for more than 5 years and has been a Florida resident for that time. You know Dave because Dave has been part of all the efforts that CMT has done with Punta Gorda during that time. He's a senior consultant in our aviation team, and he leads our revenue enhancement services section. What makes Dave uniquely positioned as your project manager is that prior to CMT, Dave served at the Kansas City Department of Aviation. For those unfamiliar, KC owns 2 airports, Kansas City International and the General Aviation Downtown Airport. He retired as the deputy director at Kansas City, and his responsibility included all commercial activities, or more simply put, every dollar that came through Dave, and his objective was to make that grow each and every day. He handled all the commercial activities, whether it's parking, rental car agreements, airline agreements, ground leasing, hangar rentals, ad sales. You get the idea. But his culminating action during his career was the development of a $1.5 billion terminal replacement. And I've always said, that's a tough job, and few folks can boast to have built such a terminal facility, but even fewer have navigated how to pay for it. So Dave brings an unequal understanding of the owner's perspective, your perspective, because he has sat where you were. This brings great benefit to you, to the board, to your executive director and his professional staff by understanding your goals and objectives. I'll ask Dave to take it from here and talk a little bit more about our approach. Dave?
Thank you. All right, well, thank you, Greg. And, I just want to talk about the master plan, but from a perspective you don't always hear. And, I've been on your side of the table. I've been an owner, a sponsor, an airport guy for over 35 years. I've gone through 5 master plans at 3 different airports as the airport executive actually responsible for implementing those results of those master plans. And that last part to me really matters because to me, a master plan isn't just a document that sits on a shelf. It's not something that you do just because you're supposed to check a box. It's a roadmap. It's a real, usable, practical roadmap that guides decisions, investments, and ultimately the future of the airport. And when you're the sponsor, the one responsible for delivering on that roadmap, your perspective changes a little bit. And you start asking different type of questions, not just is that technically correct, but hey, can I actually implement this? Does this make sense operationally? And maybe most importantly, when can I get it done? Because schedules matter. They matter to the board and to airport staff. They matter to your tenants. They matter to your community, and they matter definitely when funding windows open and close. And let me build on that with something I've come to believe pretty strongly over the years. And I think a lot of master plans are backwards, or maybe better said, they're written really upside down. Because when you pick up a master plan, if anybody's done that, there's chapters and chapters of analysis and forecasts and alternatives and layouts. And that's why when I was a sponsor, I didn't start reading it from the beginning. I went straight to the last chapter because the first question in my mind was always, how am I going to pay for all this stuff? We're not hypothetically, not someday, but in the real world, real dollars, real constraints, and real timelines. Because if the financial plan doesn't work, the rest of the document doesn't really matter. And that's actually why on our team, we approach this differently. We don't wait until the end and talk about funding. We bring it to the front on day one. That's also why people like Lynn and Monica, who are also former airport folks, are not sitting in the background somewhere waiting to start writing chapter 8. They're front and center from the very beginning. They're helping shape the plan as it's being built, not after it's already been decided. Because when you start in with financial reality, you end up with a plan that's just not visionary, it's actually doable. And from an owner's perspective, to me, that's everything. Let's talk about something else that really drives a successful master plan, and that's forecasting. Because whether you like it or not, planning starts there. Your commercial service, your general aviation activity, perhaps cargo operation. That's why Mike Weber is also a former airport person who's on our team. And even your non-aeronautical revenue opportunities. And all of it flows from your forecast. And if that foundation isn't right, if it isn't grounded in reality, everything that follows starts to drift. Projects get mistimed, facilities get overbuilt or underbuilt, and opportunities get missed. And as an owner, you actually feel that. That's why at CMT, we put a lot of emphasis on getting that forecasting right, not just technically right, but strategically useful. We don't treat it as a standalone exercise. We connect it directly to air service development, to market opportunities, to what's actually happening in your region. And that's where having an in-house air service development team makes a real difference. And our team is led by Kenneth Strickland. And I know many of you here actually know him and has worked with him in the past. And he and his team are working with over 24 airports, helping them not just understand their numbers, but improve them, because forecasting shouldn't just predict the future, it should actually help you shape it. And it should identify where growth can happen, where service can expand, and where revenue can be strengthened. So instead of reacting to the forecast, you're actually using it as a tool to drive your strategy. And when you tie that back into your master plan, now you're not just planning for what might happen, you're actually positioning your airport for what can happen. And at the end of the day, all this comes down to three things. It's being grounded in fiscal discipline, because if you can't fund it, you can't build it. An emphasis on implementation, because plans only matter if they actually get executed. And delivering a realistic roadmap, something you can pick up, act on, and move forward with immediately. That's the difference between a master plan and a plan that sits on the shelf. And I'll close with this. Punta Gorda is our priority for us. Yes, CMT brings capabilities of a large firm, but we work with the feel of a small firm. We're responsive, we're accessible, and we're accountable. And I'll be honest, Greg and I, we're getting a little longer in the tooth. And as they say, and at this point, we're quite frankly selective. We tend to get involved with airports where there's a genuine level of respect, where we like the people, the team, and what they're trying to accomplish. And that's exactly what we see here at Punta Gorda. This is a fantastic team that we've assembled, and that's what makes this kind of partnership we're really excited to be a part of. And the formula is pretty simple in the fact that you've got this value proposition is that we, our team, is going to bring Punta Gorda a fresh perspective from folks that you trust and that you know. It's really grounded in that physical discipline and built around a realistic, implementable solution. And we start that formula by listening, by taking in those fresh perspectives, knowing all that fiscal responsibility comes with planning, and having a thoughtful and realistic forecasting. And that is how you will receive a successful implementation. Great, final thoughts?
Sure. Airports are not just transportation facilities, but they're economic engines and community gateways. And the decisions you make in that process will impact and have lasting effect on those regional connections, community growth, and the quality of life. We take that responsibility seriously. We hope that through some of the just brief remarks today, we've shared how we do that, or for how we approach it. So with that, I'd love to ask the rest of the team that's here to at least stand up, and we'll turn it over to answer any questions and inquiries you may have. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You look at me first because you know I'm going to have questions.
Yeah.
Greg and Dave, thank you guys for being here and your team being here as well. Previous master plan came in 2016, roughly 2016. Have you guys reviewed it? All right, so where would you project this airport being in 10 years from now?
Great. Do you want to go first? Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a loaded question.
But
Tell you.
I'm asking them to answer it instead of saying, you don't have to answer it.
But much like I think Dave covered is, you know, I have my ideas, a vision, right? The world's growing. You can look ahead, you can see people, population will grow. So we come to a certain area, how do we respond to that? We want to still be living in the same space we are today. Dakota does a phenomenal job of fiscal responsibility, of being laid back, an easy place to get out to. And the hard part, that always clashes with growth, right? I've been through a few airports, we struggle with, hey, when you build that first garage, they're expensive versus parking, but growth puts those things in conflict. So where you want to be, I happen to be a big fan of being very fiscally responsible. I think that's a great projection for your future. Continue to do it, to make smart decisions, use the technology, use the capability. If you're hoping to be more specific.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine.
I would add,
No.
I would add, however, that Punta Gorda, in my opinion, is a very unique facility. You've got a huge general aviation population. You've got air service that is growing gangbusters into double digits year over year, regardless of what happens along those lines. And merging that, and then you've got your FBO operations on all that. And it is difficult to balance those needs of those distinct groups that all have different ways of doing things, different visions of what need to happen, and the different needs that you as the airport director and the board here have to, you know, be a part of those decisions. And that's very, very, very unique scenario.
Dave, and you had said something interesting to me. I think we all want responsible growth, and it's going to happen. It's here, and we're going to see it for the next 5, 10, 20 years. And you mentioned fiscal discipline as well. I'm a courtroom lawyer, so I read the last chapter as well first, because if I know what my goal is, I have to figure out the process on how to get there. You've never worked, Dave, have never worked with Punta Gorda Airport before, right?
No, I am the point of contact for the on-call. We did some other work for another contract, and we're also at building.
All right. Now, I'm not going to hold it against you for not, working here before, but because, whether you were the previous master plan involvement, you're blind to me and I'm blind to you. It's, for me, it's a start fresh, move forward. But you had indicated Punta Gorda is a priority for you. Tell me why it's a priority for you.
Well, I spent 35 years in the airport side of things and chose to retire and realized that I want to use the experience that I have given and had to help others. As folks that know me, I married wisely, so it's not about getting a paycheck. It's about actually being able to help those that ask for the help. And it's been a wonderful opportunity to for Chad and others to say, hey, look, I'm thinking about doing this with your airline use lease agreement. What are your thoughts on that? And just having that opportunity to sit with them, to as colleagues, like three guys with a beer around the around the fireplace, saying, look, I don't know all of your situations, but let me see what I can do to help and assist you along the way.
Have you reviewed our previous master plan?
Yes, I read every page.
Is there anything in there that you think could have been changed or should have been different?
It's very difficult. You're talking 10, that was done probably 12, 13 years ago with the data, you know what I mean? For the most part, I got to say AACOM did a pretty good job. They actually did a pretty good roadmap moving forward. And quite frankly, the team here has implemented that roadmap. And if you look at their overall 10-year plan, it's really honestly that 8, 9, 10 years is where it gets a little fuzzy, right? You know, I mean, things change.
Been a lot of
things
change.
happen along those lines.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Sean, anything? Question for Ms. Anderson. I'm just curious, I need to be educated. The initials behind your name, the FAA, I know what the FAA is, obviously, but I don't know what the...
Sure, it's kind of a niche group of us. We're qualified airport wildlife biologists.
I never heard of that one. So you're for the birds then, huh?
We call it birds and buddies.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I worked in the airports division at the FAA and in the safety and standards section. And part of that was working with airports to make them less hazardous as far as the wildlife and the attractants go on property. So that was my main thing at headquarters when I worked there. But that also ties into all of the other airport operations, because you can't go out and do wildlife mitigation without understanding the airport environment. And so there is a qualification-based advisory circular that says you have to have a certain number of criteria to be able to be a qualified airport wildlife biologist, someone who actually understands the airport environment. So that's where that comes from.
So you were previously employed at the FAA?
Correct.
And you're hooked up with these guys on this particular project. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hansick, I'm going to let you know, this is the first time I think I knew something that you didn't on what that acronym was, because my wife is a marine and wildlife biologist. So I
Did you know that?
What?
Yeah, you didn't know it. And he's an attorney like you, so you only get 50% credit.
No, he's Goldman. They used to be the TFA. Deal with the FAA a lot.
Workload? No problem taking this on?
We're dedicated to this project.
What would you guess the timeline is? I know it hasn't all been, it's been somewhat defined in the RFP, but what do you think? 12, 15, 18 months, 24 months?
Chairman, you'll get me in trouble because sometimes my staff thinks, quit asking questions, he'll make promises that we have.
Well, I'm not looking for, I'm just trying to get a feel for
Behind me, I'm a little worried about it. Yeah. I would tell you that typically for me, I go 12 months. It's very reasonable to get to. You have the end process, as you know.
Yeah, with the FAA and all that stuff, yeah.
All that. But I'm talking about getting where you have that strategic plan, you have that vision, you have chapter 8. Where are we going? Because Director Parrish and his team have to continue even during this process. In fact, over my years, one of the greatest struggles I've had is FAA sometimes will say to you, oh, well, let's just put everything on hold while you all do your master plan and not talk about it. Well, wouldn't that be wonderful? You know, that'd be like, wouldn't it be easy if we could close the airport down? We can build a lot of stuff. Why we shouldn't? So I'm a huge fan of going, it's 12 months at the longest. Let's, as you need to, as it's tailored to our need. Certainly, if there's some profound reason, public engagement to stretch out, fine, but do that. Get to have those meetings, have those discussions, develop that strategy. That way you're communicating with our partners for funding. And I think that goal of the strategy of how you're going to implement, as Dave talked about, it's just so core to what we want to do. And we want to do that however you desire or James and the group desires to do. That's our job to support it. But we have folks, you know, Candace working air service, we've got legislative folks. So we're talking about where do we think the FAA might do funding 4 years from now. We don't know that answer. But we're sure sitting around trying to explore and anticipate and go, how do we best be ready to capture those sort of things to accomplish your objectives? And I'm preaching to the choir. Things change. I really appreciated Ray's comment about Port doesn't call them 2 months ahead of time and say, hey, how do you feel about this? And we might do it. They just call them, hey, we did this. And you have to react.
Yeah, well, staff's gonna set the pace on this thing, and just from our side of the table, 12 to 15 months is when we would be looking at making a decision to approve or, well, we gotta approve it first before we send it to the FAA,
Yeah, so we.
as far as the
yeah,
board is concerned. Yeah.
So we got to schedule public involvement. There's a lot of things. And I think last time we got a little heat over our public involvement times. So we're going to try and get that high season, low season, and get as many people as possible involved.
So you are, we're ready to start. I would say, David, I'd probably say tomorrow. I know Dave said he could sign the contract, but it's his birthday.
Yeah.
And I refuse to make him work
Well,
any harder on his birthday.
did we bring that $100,000 contract here?
$100,000. If you guys will do it for $100,000.
Well, that's what I was getting to, we'll sign today for. Okay, great. Any other questions? TJ? Okay, thank you very much.
All right. If you guys could step out for a minute, I'll let the team discuss and we'll call you back in.
Great, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Well, each of you have a score sheet with the three firms. Got to listen 1, 2, and 3. We're open for discussion or preferences or we always.
James,
I
can
don't
you-
want to see your score.
James, can you give me, on our yellow sheet here that we got in our packet, they're ranked lowest to highest. Can you tell me how the grading system, numbering system work from the RFP?
So there, in the RFP, there's a ranking or a grading section of it.
By
And
points.
we had 4 or 3.
We had grading sections?
How many people were on that?
3.
3.
Oh, 4. I'm
4.
sorry.
So 4
People
staff
grading
members
4.
read through
That's
them
the
all
average.
and came up with, they averaged their scores. And there were about 5 or 6 sections in there that, team, schedule, past experience with us, all of that goes into that. Just my personal, AECom has done a wonderful job. We have implemented 98% of their 10-year plan. They hit things right on the numbers as to what we would need. They were hamstrung by the fact that we didn't do a terminal area forecast. We accepted the FAA's, and like 2 of them said, the FAA is skeptical of forecasts, and they're also very conservative. Our forecasted growth over the 10 years was 3% a year. We have grown about 40% in total. So that has hindered us, and that's why this one, the first thing we're going to do is a forecast, and that's going to slow the whole process down because that has to get approved before we can even process the rest of the plan. I agree with Dave. The plans no one cares about how we got to the end. We want to know the end and how we're going to pay for it. So that's important to me, that we figure out where we want to be and then figure out how to pay for it.
Yeah, I kind of like the team that CMT put together. They got Leibowitz and they got EG Solutions, who the airport has used a lot. And I've worked with all 3 of these over the years, and I like the idea that they're looking at change. I think we need a fresh look. Like I agree with James on AECom, but time for a fresh look, I think.
It seems like a lot of these people work together too, the same.
Well, they picked some good
So,
subcontractors.
when we had our pre-meeting, when all the firms came in and asked us what we wanted, we let them know who we're comfortable with. Not firms that'll do the master plan, but firms that will supplement their parts of it. And obviously, EG Solutions, through the iterations of different firms, has worked with us for a long time. In 1994, this was the first airport I ever worked on with what is now EG Solutions. So I'm, very comfortable with their abilities. Leibowitz and Horton have been wonderful to work with through the years. I'm an engineer. and.
We'll all
Yeah.
hold that against you.
And
That's all.
they have taught me a lot, and I really trust their counsel. So those two are important to me. I've worked with Recondo when I was an engineer on other master plans, so I'm comfortable with them too. But I really enjoy the Leibowitz Norton team. So
Were they on ESA's?
Leibowitz and Horton is no Recondo would be doing that portion of it. And like I said, I know Pete. I've worked with Pete, so I mean I'm comfortable with them. I've just, Steve and I bickered a lot about my theory of airport management and financing. And after he told me, I'm going to change everything you do, he came back 6 weeks later and said, don't change a damn thing. So he was, I think their ability and willingness to look outside the box, and when people say we're outside, there's not a box.
No.
We threw that away, and we are, very different. And they're willing to agree that we're different and figure out how it's going to work for us.
That's Recondo?
Leibowitz and Horton.
Leibowitz, okay.
So I was glad to see them on two teams.
Yeah, that was it.
And I understand the point about change and fresh perspective, but I don't see that being a barrier to the existing ACOM. I believe in track record, experience, vision. I like slides that show me ideas of the next 10 years. The other two just kind of went through the motions of, teaching us about what they do and what the process is, but showing, having not only hands-on experience, just same thing. I'm in the service industry, product quality. And if I performed and I don't get the next shot, then what did I do wrong? I'm familiar with you. I'm familiar with the process. I'm familiar with your staff. And again, I like to see blueprints. I like to see examples. And so I understand where you're coming from, but I've turned in my rankings.
I will, and this is not a hit on anybody. We have been looking at how to integrate the QTA facility into that area that AECOM showed it moving. And we asked AECOM to look at it, and we also asked CMT to look at it on two separate occasions. And you're right, the other two did not put up a lot of new stuff, but I will tell you what we got was a fresh perspective when I had a new firm look at it. And honestly, it is the direction I'm headed. Whoever gets this is going to get that piece of paper because that's what I want in that area. I think it's a really good idea, and it allows us to open that up without bifurcating it. If we can buy a building that's already there, use that for the part of the QTA facility. Right now, the road separates. Their idea moves it in the direction that it already is and allows us to put a light over there and do a lot of things that are really different than what we've seen in the past. So like I said at the beginning, I'm not going to be upset if you guys choose any of these. They're all great. I've worked with all of them. I will tell you, I spoke, the first time I met Dave, I was speaking at a conference. He and I were on the same panel. It was right before Sandy retired, and I grabbed him right afterwards and said, "You want to come back and work for airports again?" We couldn't pay him what he was making in Kansas City. He did not want to come back, and Chad's happy because he would be sitting in that seat. But Dave's a really, really different thinker. So
yeah,
I've liked working with him.
You guys ready to?
Sure.
Okay.
You're going to collect them?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, give us someone that can count. I couldn't resist.
I appreciate the board sticking around to 11:30. Brett and I are leaving as soon as we get out of here to go to Georgia to hunt turkeys, so.
Well, Daryl will appreciate this. While I was sitting here, my staff was blowing up my phone that one of the judges was looking for me. Because I told her I'd be back about 10:30, 11.
I know we're running behind, but under commissioner comments, I want to make sure we touch on this.
Yeah.
I'll blame Mr. Hanson.
You did sent you a deal on the 3P.
Governmental unit.
It's kind of an interesting article, public-private partnership. Might be something we may be looking at in the future.
I guess my question to you is, what is your perspective on this? Are you letting us know about this in a negative way or a positive way?
Positive way.
Positive.
At some point, it's an option on financing stuff.
Yeah.
And, it all depends whether you can afford to do it.
It seems eerily familiar with previous past discussion.
Oh, it has nothing to do with privatization of airports.
See, if you were involved in our 3P conversations from the beginning, it started with this, hangars, FBOs, parking lots, garages, and then it morphed into the entire airport. I think on purpose, that's what the consultant that we hired was pushing for. But we have to look at how building garages is expensive, but honestly, if we're going to build a garage, I think that, we need to look into that very, very closely. Okay. All right, well, you want to bring it back in? Sure. Well, I'll just read it. I'll read it now and you can bring them in. So everybody graded them. The low score wins. It's like golf. CMT has a 6, AECOM has an 8, and ESA was a 10. So go ahead and bring them in.
You said low score wins?
Low score wins. And it's getting cool in here, so we'll bring them in so instead of standing outside.
CMT 6, 8, 8, ESA. And a low score wins, 1, 2, 3.
We'll see him.
Sure. I gave up golf.
So really you're just voting on who you get to negotiate. Yeah. So you really say, priority. This is number one.
You're going to be in trouble for all that talking. She's going to have to just say, he didn't have his mic on the whole time.
Well, we weren't talking about, we were talking about.
We're still.
Yeah, but she has to. Yeah. She's going to say discussion and save an adjourn.
Everybody here? Okay, the commissioners, and we also allowed Mr. Parrish in the discussion on, before we made our selection process and the scoring. Now, remember, the scoring is low number wins. ESA, their score was 10. AECOM, 8. CMT, 6. So Mr. Parrish and staff will be instructed to sit down with CMT, work out a scope of work, come up with a number.
So as Brett said, we have 6 weeks to get this grant app in.
Yes, we'll be getting an email tomorrow that we start the scope of the fee.
Yeah.
And we'll probably set up a meeting early next week. Like I said, I had a meeting this morning with the FAA and they were already on me about it. I told them our meeting was not yet. They thought we already had it yesterday.
So we will develop the scope, get the fee, and bring that back to the board in 4 weeks. So we can get the grant out.
Does there need to be a vote on the selection or no? No, we're good.
Well, it depends. You come to an agreement with them.
Yeah, so you've given me the
Authority to negotiate.
the authority to negotiate with the first, second, and third.
And probably if we need if we got a time constraint, I don't think there'd be any problem with the commissioners to get together.
Okay.
In an emergency meeting if we need to get this thing going, so we don't miss the window on the grant application. Because you're talking probably a pretty good chunk of money.
Yes, sir. All right.
Okay, thank you all for coming and the time. It's been an interesting process, especially for our newer board members, and we will wish you all success. Thank you again.
Thank you.
No, public comments?
Public comments, anybody? On anything? Not okay? And then, okay, commissioner comments? Steve?
Anthony, are you still here? Anthony, congratulations on starting here. We're looking forward to you being a member of the team here. Joe and Mike, you guys still here? Congrats on your guys' accomplishments and keep up the great work as well. CMT, we're looking forward to working with you guys. Don't let James give you too much of a hard time here. All right. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, I have the same, and congratulations to you too, Ray, for what you did there too.
Oh, yes, Ray, I'm sorry. Congrats to you as well.
I was happy he forgot about that.
We're trying to deflate that.
I know, huh?
TJ.
I don't think that's happening.
Same sentiments. Congratulations. We already discussed your memo article here, and thank you.
Okay.
Great meeting.
Well, again, thank you all for coming, and thank you all out there that watched us on the tube, and I now adjourn the meeting.
Don't forget, we have our